everyone, Cynthia Luhu here. I just wanted to show you some kind of tips and tricks to using your border punches and your corner punches. I know some of you, as well as myself, got some of the punches at Ross, and they didn't come in sets, so some people may have got sets, but I didn't get any sets. So I would get like this corner punch and this border punch, and I ended up getting like 4 or 5 different ones. So anyway, I wanted to show you what I did. On this one, I had gotten this at Ross, and I have this really pretty border punch. I love this punch, and I just thought it would make, I really wanted to do a punch around the page with it, so this is what I came up with. So I cut my paper at 4 inches by 6.5, which would give me 2 punches on the side and 1 here and then 1 on each corner. So I could do a 4 inch by 4 inch, which would have a corner here and a corner here, which would be a really cute little photo mat, or I could do a 6.5 by 6.5 with this. And what I did with this was I punched all of the corners first, and then when I put it in my punch, I just centered the paper on the punch. So I eyeballed it and made sure it was centered, and then I punched it down. And then when I did the next one, I made sure that where I centered it, where it came out on this side, I made sure I didn't go past that, and then I punched it. And then I actually went by the grid on the next one and punched it. Not grid, but the picture when you line it up. And on this one, I just put it all the way up to the top. But not on this one. When I did this one, I used this lace one and this corner one. When I did this one, I had to do it this way and look, and I couldn't let my paper go all the way up to the top. I had to make sure that it was pulled down, so I took the top of my card and the top line above the punch. Let me get a straight piece of paper and show you. Just until the top of my card met the very top of the line, so there would be a line you could see. And then I would punch it, bring it down, make sure that the picture on this side matched up, and then I would make sure on this side to pull it up or down to give me that little teeny space in between the card and the top of the punch. So if you have these particular punches, oh, and I also made another one with this, a Fiskar punch, and I used the Fiskar punch, and then I used this one because I kind of thought it was shaped like a heart. And this one I tried at 3 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is pretty much the measurements you're going to want to use if it cuts at a 2-inch increment right here, which this one does. But for some reason this wouldn't work out, so I had to give it a little teeny bit more room. So I went to 5/8, and then I was able to get it all matched up, except that teeny piece right there. So I was able to get it all matched up, and it looked great. So I'm going to do one real quick and show you how. So I'm going to show you real quick with this piece of paper, this corner punch, and my doily punch, how you want to do it to get the punch around the page. I'm going to turn it over, and every time I punch, I just like to have it upside down so I can see what I'm punching. And then I'm going to center, I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to center my paper, and I'm looking in the little space. And I want to make sure that on the left top and the right top, if you can see, there's a little bit of a space right there. And I'm going to line the top of the paper up with the top of the punch. I don't want to go any further than that. That's perfect. I'm going to punch it and pull it out, and then you can see. I'll turn it over this way, it's not so busy. So there we go. So now when I want to have that amount of room in between when I punch my next one. So if you look on the top left, I have a little space up there between the previous punch and the punch I'm going to make. And I'm going to make sure there's a line between the card and the top of the punch. So I will see a line so my paper doesn't go directly all the way up to the top of the punch. And that's what I get. I'm going to do it over here. Just like that. Now I'm going to turn it over, make sure my pictures line up. Okay, and once I have my picture lined up, I'm going to hold it down. And then I'm going to make sure that my paper is in the right position and punch. And there we go. So now you've got a punch around the page. So just remember your measurements and then just try with your punches. And usually if you've got a 2-inch right here and the Martha Stewart corner punches are all around the same, you're going to be able to get away with a 3 1/4 by a 5 1/2. If not, you may want to tweak it and go down a little bit, but make sure you practice on a piece of scratch paper first before you do it on a project and get it perfected. And also, you can use your Fiskars as well. Just check the measurement of what will be punched, and the Fiskars I have are 2 inches. And so now I can use this for a really cool photo mat if I wanted to. And same with these. You can do a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 and have a square, or a 5 1/2 by a 5 1/2 and get a bigger square. So I hope you like this little tutorial and try it, and thanks for watching. Love you all. Bye.